Nick at Night is comfy as your favorite jeans, the ones that fit just right. Comfy, 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 that's Nick at Night.
Hi, it's me, Phil Hartman. Welcome to the second evening of Nick at Night's 3-day pass with Sgt Bilko. Well, now, you've been in the military for one whole day. You should be accustomed to the disciplined manner in which we conduct ourselves on Sgt Bilko's Army base. So get out your poker chips, rack up the balls on the pool table, and stay tuned for 5 more classic, uncut episodes of Sgt Bilko.
Nick at Night presents a Bilko debriefing.
I think in a way it is a return for Steve to kind of the broader physical type comedy that he originally became most famous for. And it was fun for me as a Steve Martin fan to see him get back to his roots.
All right, you've seen real soldiers before. Just do what they do. All right, let's do the grab the rifle by the bottom thing. Arr! All right. Now, let's do the, the shoulder thing. The shoulder thing.
He captured the essence of the Phil Silver character, and I think we succeed in that. I ran with a bunch in college. There were a few of us there. We had kind of a house that was like a Bilko-type house, and we always had some schemes going, try to make money and try to have parties.
I think America loves liars, We've been electing them to public office for 200 years now. There's just something about the charming hustler.
Well, you can start with this. The Colonel's car.
Okay, what's wrong with it?
It's the odometer, Wally. It says 12,000 miles, and it should say 11,000 miles.
You want me to turn the odometer back?
Yes.
I can't do that, Sergeant.
Can't! He said can't! Oh!
Yet, Bilko has a heart of gold, too. He has the devotion of his troops and loyalty to them, and there's something very endearing about that.
Back when Phil Silvers was doing his show, obviously the Army they were downsizing after World War II, but there was still a large contingent of military personnel in the country that were guaranteed of their jobs, and we use, the current economic constrictions to great effect in that Phil's character, Major Thorne, comes in from Washington as they're looking for to cut and close everything, and we're all, fearing for our jobs, and so sociologically speaking, it kind of addresses what's going on today.
And that's funny.
Funny face, you won't believe what happened. There was this busload of sweet little old geriatrics. They went rolling down a mountainside and...
Do you think I'm an idiot?
I mean, it's actually quite a serious film, then.
Yes, I suppose one could say.
Are there any laughs in it at all?
No.
Bilko!
If you want to do a drama about the Army, we're the 3 guys that you would hire.
Mm-hmm. We were all big fans of Phil Silvers, I think, but as far as specific influences, Jackie Gleason, Lucille Ball, Desi Arnaz, Phil Silvers,
Steve Allen for me.
Steve Allen, the guys who did the black
My
and white,
influences were Mark Twain, Lenny Bruce, and Dwight Eisenhower.
Dwight was funny. He rocked.
Well, I was born in 1948, so I am definitely a television baby boomer, and the Phil Silvers Show, The Honeymooners, Lucy, those shows really were big impressions upon a young, developing mind.
And if you were on the planet and had a TV, you had to watch them, and be influenced by them.
But you weren't really on the planet, were you?
Well, living in Canada, one could, I watched a lot of the old Bilko shows, just watching the character I played, Colonel Hall, and realized that, that I shouldn't do
That's what
he
I
was
did,
doing.
too. I looked at a lot of old tapes and realized, I'm not a mimic like these guys, and I just had to do it as Steve. Steve Martin, who I can actually do a fair impression of.
Oh, I'd like to see that.
Yeah. I can actually do a fair impression of him.
That's whoa, man, that was just
good.
like him.
Yeah.
I think what was called for was to reinvent the concept of the master sergeant living large at the Army's expense.
I did a little of the Paul Ford, but not really do the Paul Ford, do the...
All right, Bilko, where's Doberman?
Yeah, I mean...
All right, Bilko, where's... See, I can't do it. It's just Bilko.
The only thing.
Well, he's certainly not in that footlocker, sir.
And why is it vibrating?
Excellent, excellent. We didn't do
You didn't need Dan or me in this movie. You could have played all the parts.
But I think we did need you fellas.
Yeah,
Hey, don't
that's
sell
right.
yourself short.
Universal Pictures Sgt Bilko in theaters this Friday.
Look alive, men, and you lovely ladies, too. Stay tuned for more of Nick at Night's 3-Day Pass with Sgt Bilko.
Nick at Night is giving you 3 nights of Sgt Bilko. But on Nick at Night's TV Land, you can see Sgt Bilko every day, along with many other fine shows. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to name them all right now.
But I might remind you to let your imagination run rampant a bit.
Stay tuned for more of Nick at Night's 3-Day Pass with Sgt Bilko.
Don't get bilked out of your fair share of Bilko. Stay tuned for more of Nick at Night's 3-Day Pass with Sgt Bilko. Welcome back to Nick at Night's 3-Day Pass with Sgt Bilko. As you watch the next classic episode of Sgt Bilko, keep in mind this TV show wasn't afraid to tell the truth about Army life. For example, it shows that in the Army, there's plenty of time for gambling, outsmarting superior officers, and coming up with ridiculous schemes to get rich quick. And that in the Army, you don't even have to be in remotely good physical shape to be a soldier. Sgt Bilko, honest and forthright. The way classic TV ought to be. Welcome back to Nick at Night's 3-Day Pass with Sgt Bilko. You are hereby ordered to stay right where you are and watch the next classic uncut episode of Sgt Bilko in its entirety. Do I make myself clear? I can't hear you. I still can't hear you. Oh, of course I can't hear you. I'm on television. I'm sorry. Never mind.
Nick at Night is giving you 3 nights of Sgt Bilko. But on Nick at Night's TV Land, you can see Sgt Bilko every day, along with many other fine shows. Unfortunately, we don't have the time to name them all right now.
But I might remind you to let your imagination run rampant a bit.
Stay tuned for more of Nick at Night's 3-Day Pass with Sgt Bilko. If 3 nights with Sgt Bilko just isn't enough, you'll want Nick at Night's TV Land. Because Nick at Night's TV Land is where Sgt Bilko and his pals Doberman, Paparelli, Kadowski, and Zimmerman will be stationed permanently.
Boys, this is the real thing.
Call your cable company and say, take me to TV Land.
Welcome back to Nick at Night's 3-Day Pass with Sgt Bilko. You know, Sgt Bilko isn't just a brilliant TV show. It was also the launching pad for many future stars, including James Earl Jones, George Kennedy, Fred Gwynne, and of course, the chairman of Nick at Night, Dick Van Dyke. Who knows? Maybe you'll be able to spot some pre-famous person in this next episode. Hi, I'm Phil Hartman, and welcome to the final evening of Nick at Night's 3-Day Pass with Sgt Bilko. If you're just tuning in for the first time, well, what can I say? You've missed 10 classic, uncut episodes of the legendary comedy series Sgt Bilko on Nick at Night. Now, basically, you've blown a major opportunity, which will probably never happen again in your lifetime. On the plus side, there's still 5 great episodes to come this evening. If I were you, I wouldn't go anywhere. Welcome back to Nick at Night's 3-Day Pass with Sgt Bilko. Coming up next, another classic episode of Sgt Bilko, otherwise known as The Phil Silvers Show. Of course, the original title was You'll Never Get Rich, but they dropped that title after 2 months, so forget I ever mentioned it. Anyway, stay tuned for another episode of a great show.